Oh, it's party time! Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's another Spoopy Boys. We're ranking our 31 and 30. Super Spike. What's up, the Sasquatch? I'm gonna go back out there. Don't you worry. I have plans. I have machinations. I'm gonna catch that sucker. I got a bag full of gorp packed. That's good old raisins and peanuts, everybody. I'm gonna get my. Yes, I also got I got some squash scent. I'm not gonna tell you how I cooked that up, but I'm gonna get out there. I'm gonna furrow around in them bushes. I'm gonna find a squatch. Hopefully, a lady squatch. Don't ask why, but yeah. Welcome everyone. We're doing our 31 and 31 rankings, part one. I have been able to get 20 deep into it. Ben, I think you're at 27, right? Yeah, dude, you killing it. So yeah, we found this cool little free ranking tier list thing. We got our movie images set up, and we'll throw them out there. Kind of figure out where we think they are ultimately after digesting it a bit, and yeah. Spike's throwing me off once again. Super Spike's blowing up the chat. Yeah. All right. So yeah, we'll get through this and it'll be a wonderful time. Ben's voice is a little scratchy.
Yeah, I've been sick for like a week.
He has. Yeah. So I'm gonna do my Spike. Don't, darling. You're fine. I don't know what that voice was, but yeah, you're gonna get a whole load of me. So if I'm what you want on the menu, you're in luck because I'm gonna be filling up the air until Ben shuts me down. All right. So we got our categories here, and we got Spoopy, we got A-OK. Oh, A-OK with us. Be warned. Can if you really want to, and just don't bother or skip it. All right, and I guess we start with I guess the first little image. Should we just do that?
Yeah, you call it.
All right, so yeah, cast a deadly spell. I'm putting this in. I'd say it's Spoopy approved for me.
Not A-OK with us.
Why would you put it at? Where do you think?
I haven't seen it in a really long time, but
you know, actually, that was A-OK with us was my first instinct because there are some things.
Yeah, it's a little TV movie-ish.
Yes, it's very TV movie-ish.
I would love to see what can be done with it now, especially after watching something like Lovecraft Country.
Yes. Yeah.
It's of its time.
It is of its time.
It's good, but this to me, Spoopy approved is like, this is the bomb ass shit.
Okay,
this is the dankest of shit.
This is not the dankest. This will put you on your butt.
This is some sticky icky, but it's not the dankest.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. No, I agree. Yeah, because this was my initial instinct. Okay.
It's a great movie, though.
Great movie. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Just because it's not in Spoopy approved does not mean it's not good.
That's true.
If it's down here in these bottom two, then you gotta worry.
Yeah. This it's I don't even know if this rates as a cult classic even.
I don't think it does.
I don't think it does because it doesn't.
Should be.
It could. It has that potential. I'd say it's almost on the level of like how awesome The Rocketeer is. The Rocketeer for me just holds up like a gem and is kind of in a way a timeless movie.
Yeah.
This is almost teetering on that brink, but there's just a few faults to it here and there, but it is awesome. It's
and
really
fun.
That
there's a sequel, right?
I have not seen it.
Dennis Hopper, called Witch Hunt.
Ooh, is it Dennis Hopper when he's still kind of reckless with himself?
It's 94.
Oh, so it's cleaned up. Dennis, he did some good stuff at that point.
He did.
There's not to get off course and not to get off spoopiness, but if you ever want to see a phenomenal indie movie, 90s indie with Dennis Hopper. It's called The Last Days of Frankie the Fly. It's awesome. It's a slick little crime movie where he's this low-level enforcer. Not even enforcer. He's almost like a gopher, kind of like almost not even a full bag man. He's just this like just low-level shit with big aspirations, big dreams, and just the kind of soul. And you're just like, why are you in this life? And it's like I think a 24-hour, maybe 48-hour kind of portrait of a life. It's good. It's good. Kiefer Sutherland's in it, I think Daryl Hannah. Anyway, back to it. Casa Spell. Wonderful practical effects on it. It's got a stellar cast. But yeah, there's just a few things. It does have that full it does. It's a TV movie, and you feel it a bit, and not like what we think of as like what TV movies are today, where they can be with streaming and all that stuff, or even on like the cable channels, HBO. These big lavish productions. This is early HBO still, where even if you go back and their shows weren't the full wonderful, beautiful thing they were when, like, say, Sopranos started. They didn't have that full cinematic quality yet. So yeah, but it is a-okay with us. Next, Dead Dudes in the House, which has.
I have not watched this one yet, so we're going completely off of yours.
I say this is right in the middle. I say this is a be warned, because this is not going to be accessible for everyone. You also have to have a taste for bad movies, because this is kind of a bad movie, but almost intentionally so. It rides this strange line where it's at times like sort of serious. There's a kind of a cool concept at hand where these young people who are none of the people featured on the on this image. That's just a bunch of people that Trauma hired.
Fair. That's Trauma, baby.
That's Lloyd for you, Lloyd Kaufman. Yes, so it's like 4 dudes, I think, and they're like 2 girlfriends. They go buy this house, this cheap house, that's like haunted by the spirit of this old woman who's clearly like a 6'3", 6'2" guy wearing Apple Granny prosthetics and doing a voice like this. And it's like people are reacting to it like it's real, and it's wonderful, but also like no one's a good actor in this movie, but it's middling to bad. And luckily the director was like, go for it, and everyone's over emoting in the best way possible. So yeah, and it also has like this weird Looney Tunes quality to it, where especially there's one sequence that's very memorable to me where a guy is climbing up a ladder to try to get inside the house, because everyone who goes inside the house gets trapped, and there's one guy who's been left on the outside. He's trying to get in, climbing up the ladder. We see in cuts the granny character opening up the windowsill, going to get a big meat cleaver, and then like waiting there prepared as the guy's like doot, 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 and then gets up. They have this weird interaction, and she gets some stupid one-liner out when he's just like, oh, okay, I think I'm just gonna go now, and then starts hacking his hands off. And it's absurd. It's absurd, but it's not going to be for everyone's tastes, and it is definitely it's not something I would want to watch again on my own. I would want people around me to have more people to riff off of and have fun with. So it doesn't have that quality of something like Cast a Deadly Spell, where you could just sit down and enjoy it for what it is. So yeah, I'd say it's a be warned.
Okay. I don't know what this next one is.
This next one is.
Oh, yeah, I do. It's Before I Wake.
Yep. I have not seen this.
I'm going to say this one is between these two. I don't think, you know what? We're going to put it here.
Okay.
So this is a Mike Flanagan flick before he like took off in the public consciousness. It's got Thomas Jane, who will appear later on again. It's horror by way of Amblin. It's not an 80s movie, but the vibe, and it doesn't pretend to be an 80s movie. It's not retro in any way, shape, or form. It just has that Amblin vibe to it.
So
there's a lot of like wonder to it. It's kind of riffing off a Twilight Zone episode a little bit.
So it's not like full J.J. Abrams where it's like I'm copy and pasting. It just naturally taps into it.
You couldn't watch this with kids because it would scare them.
Okay.
But you could watch this with like 10, 11, 12. Might still creep them out a little bit because there's some creepiness in it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good. It's very entertaining. It deals a lot with like the grief and loss and how we manifest that.
Mm-hmm.
So I would compare it, like I said, to like an Amblin Babadook almost. So Babadook for the masses.
Okay, yeah.
But if that's not your jam, if you're looking for like jump scares and all that, there's a little bit of that, but this really isn't your movie. It's actually a lot of like beautiful family stuff in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I can't wait to hear what you think of it when you watch it.
Yeah. I think that I have that on my list, and it's in my last 11 here. Yeah.
Exorcismo, that was
Paul Naschy, baby.
All Paul Naschy movies fall in this category. The key to it is I really want to. I enjoy this bastard right here.
I really want to. I love it.
This John Belushi meets Marlon Brando.
Yeah. And I went for that. There's all these other ones that had the official poster art. Then I found the Naschy collection with his big old mug on. I'm like, oh yeah, we got to highlight this guy.
It's like a weird possession cult movie. I like it because I like Paul Naschy. It's not a good movie.
His werewolf movie was wonderful.
His werewolf movies are fun. He's not a werewolf in this movie though, which is weird because like 75% of the movies he was in, he was a werewolf. He's a priest in this one. He surprisingly gets beat up once, which is shocking because Paul Naschy is like, Bruno San Martino guy. So yeah, I mean, I would say if you're a weirdo and you like Spanish, Italian, and even some of that French horror of that era, go for it. It's not the best Naschy movie, but it was a fun enough watch.
All right. Moving on.
Yes.
Let's go to The Lodge.
I have not watched The Lodge yet.
Okay.
Is this a remake? Because apparently Hitchcock has a movie called The Lodge as well.
Ooh, I don't know.
I'm guessing no.
For the content in it, I think Hitchcock would have been like eaten alive if he had made this movie. I'm gonna put this on Be Warned, because if there's some heavy stuff in this, and if you have any kind of religious trauma in your life or have dealt with suicide in any way, shape, or form, and it's affected you, it's a rough movie. It's a rough movie. But I'm weird in that I like really depressing shit. And I like seeing how far down, if it's not
Poughkeepsie Tapes.
Like I'll say my threshold, and this is probably an extreme threshold for some people. I would say the lowest I ever would go and find myself coming away from a movie with like, okay, there's some value there to be examined, is Irreversible. I've seen things a little worse than that, and I just because at least Irreversible has some themes it's trying to work with, but there is some rough stuff in it that
there's some real rough stuff in that movie.
I don't think I'll ever return
to I don't ever need to watch it again.
It's a movie I would recommend for,
but at least it had,
if you can stomach it.
It had a motivation and a reason. It's not like a Serbian film.
No, exactly. That's where it's like this is just pure edgelordy titillation to see how much you can make someone feel uneasy for the pure
Human
delight of
centipede type
making.
of.
Yeah, trash.
There's a whole bunch of Japanese stuff that falls in that category too.
Yeah. But this I really like this, but I also recognize how hard this could be for other people to watch. It's very serious. Also, it's a very much a psychological horror film, and it plays with you all the way through until even the very end. You're left with a lot of questions, and they're not fun questions to have necessarily, but as a psychological horror film, a religious horror film, and a character study in what seems like a descent into madness. It is.
Do we need an extra category for movies like this and Chained and some of this?
Oh yeah. It's like I don't know what Be Warned or no, Be Warned is actually pretty good. I feel like, although maybe we need something else for stuff that isn't Be Warned, something we could put dead dudes in the house in.
No, I think this would be for like I don't know what we would call it.
Endurance tests. Trigger warnings. Beautiful. Yes. Yeah. Perfect. I might put lights out in there. Yeah. Even like maybe, I don't know. I've had thoughts on that. We'll get to it though. But yeah, trigger warning flicks for sure. I'd put this in there. I really liked it, but it could definitely leave people feeling really, really sour. And so yeah, like just, go into it if you feel like you can handle that stuff. If like the movies that where you just feel kind of sad and bad and like anxious throughout don't fully ruin your day. It might ruin your day for a little bit, but yeah, I do give it a stamp of approval, but there's stickers all over that stamp, that around that stamp, that's like watch out. All right. Next, Eyes Without a Face. I'm putting this. Yes, thank you. Yes, this goes right up.
I haven't watched it yet, but I mean, come on, it's a classic.
It deserves. This is a movie that deserves classic in every true sense of that word. This was wonderful, and I know I can be very hyperbolic at times with my praise, but like this, let's cut through it. It's banded about, and it is a classic for a reason. Everything, it's a flawless movie. It truly is. It's beautifully shot. The music is it's so jarring, but jarring in a way that works for the movie, for the content. The motivations of all the characters are pretty solid. It's like, it's just so good. It's so good. And it works on such a simple level because it's not really gory. I mean, there are some cool prosthetic effects that I'm really impressed that they achieved. But yeah, like it works on so many different levels. And let me back up and get the story out there. Okay, so we have this kind of like hot shit, a little bit of a god complex surgeon, does mostly like, I guess for the time, a plastic surgeon, reconstructive stuff, helps people with things like that. He causes a car accident that destroys the face of his beautiful daughter, Christiane. They tell everyone Christiane has died, and she has been now living in seclusion with this mask over her face, this emotionless mask that only her eyes and they're so expressive. The actress, and I'm so sorry, I do not have names on this, but the actress is just, the work she does, her soul is poured through her eyes, and it's beautiful, and tragic and haunting and scary. So she's got this mask on, and her father is going about with the help of his devoted sidekick, who he restored her beauty after a horrible accident. They go about abducting women and peeling their faces off in an attempt to reconstruct her face, and it isn't working, and things are getting to a boiling point. And it's so good. It's so good. You there's no point where this movie felt boring, or it felt unoriginal or anything. There's no negatives I could bring up about it. Like, and for a 1960s movie, it holds up so remarkably well. The only thing I could think someone could have a negative about this movie is it's French and there's subtitles. But if that is your hang up, I'm going to tell you, please do your best to get over that, because this movie is absolutely worth your time and then some. It's wonderful. It's, I think you could even probably I would show this, you could show this probably to someone as young as 10. Like, it's not too brutally violent, and it has surprisingly, what I would say, and some people might debate this, I think it's a very uplifting ending, and kind of, for Christiane, has a really good message at heart. So yeah, I'd say this is all the way up there. I couldn't recommend it anymore. Very accessible, but also but it's not like it's not like, when I say very accessible, it's not like it's like just some made for the masses, easily digestible thing. It's got some heft and some weight. It'll make you think, but you get into it easy. It's a nice warm bath you slide into, and then you're there, and it's on, and you come out feeling good and clean and refreshed, because this is true art. And that is Eyes Without a Face.
I'm looking forward to watching it.
Oh, it was wonderful. Oh, ooh, you're next.
Your next is an A flick for me. I've seen this movie before.
Yeah, I put it right up there. It's a really good siege movie. You've got Barbara Crampton in it doing some wonderful work. Larry Fessenden is in it again, too briefly, for me. I don't know the actress's name, but our heroine in this is awesome. And then
it's got some humor in it.
There's the interplay between this rich, snobby, shitty family is delightful in the worst way, if you like to see rotten people treating each other rotten, and they all deserve it for the most part.
It's if you liked Ready or Not,
yeah, or Knives Out,
or less Knives Out, because Knives Out isn't quite anywhere near as bloody as those two movies.
Oh, no. But yeah, but Ready or Not, definitely, I would say this and Ready or Not could easily be a double feature and be a wonderful night. Yeah.
One movie is like everybody V1, the other is teams.
Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, the gist of this movie, it's we've got this really rich family that's getting together. They are, I think it's alluded to that they're kind of like weapons, like armament kind of people, like a Lockheed Martin sort of deal kind of family. That's how they got their riches from. Also, at the same time, in the neighborhood that this family lives in, there are some people going about killing neighbors, and they're wearing creepy ass animal masks, and they're very, very capable. A
little bit of the Strangers vibe in it.
Yes.
At the beginning, until we get to kind of some more of the dynamics that are happening, the twistiness.
Yeah, and we're brought into it with our heroine, who's has a shady kind of past that's alluded to. You find out she survived kind of like doomsday prepper upbringing,
like a Waco.
Yeah, so she's able to handle herself, we find out. And she is the girlfriend to one of the sons of the family who's a very much outwardly a peacenik and seems very kind of like East Coasty liberal elite archetype for that. And yeah, you see family squabbling. You see a lot of like crazy rated R Home Alone style like shenanigans that are some pretty hard. There's not to spoil anything, you do see at one point a blender go into a dude's head and then that blender gets turned on and it's just like, whoa, I don't know if I've seen it like it. Yeah, it just comes out of nowhere, so there's no preparation for it.
You also get one of those like super smart final girls.
Yes,
it's not undeserved because, like you said, they explained that she survived. She grew up in a cult, in a doomsday cult, and survived like when things went off the rails. So she immediately, when things start to go bad, she's like,
yeah, she is
where
telling the family
weapons. Yeah, like
you got to do this. Let's do this. She's giving everyone the right advice, and of course, who's going to listen to this? You know, she's not one of us. So yeah, tables turn on this family very quickly, but yeah, it's a good movie. There's good gore in it. I wouldn't call it a full
accessible siege movie too.
Yeah, but not like not as full on splatterfest.
No,
but it'll sate your appetite if you're looking for some horror actiony stuff. Yeah, really solid characters. Fun twists that are had here and there to go around.
Is this Ty? This isn't Ty West, is it? Your next, it's somebody with a relatively good pedigree, but I can't remember who.
Totally sure about that.
Luckily, we have internet.
Yeah,
I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah, do it. Although Ty West has directed a bunch of stuff I had no idea about, like
Adam Wingard.
Oh, there we go. He
kind of class of.
Yeah, didn't he end up doing one of the newer Godzillas?
Yeah,
that's what I thought. But I love Ty West. He's one of my favorites currently out there for the kind of a younger director, I guess. Started with Cabin Fever 2. That's wild. Anyways, but yeah,
he did really Godzilla versus Kong.
I loved that movie. I really enjoyed that.
I feel like he and Ty West kind of have this like thing where they'll do a really good movie and then they'll do a real bad movie.
Yeah.
Ty West like, oof.
It's had some ups and downs for sure.
I think Adam Wingard's the same way because he did Death Note.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I forget about that so much, and I think that's on purpose.
Unfortunately, I think that there's that kind of.
Although Willem Dafoe is great in it, but like,
it's William Dafoe. I can't.
Doesn't hold a movie.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah.
I think there's a whole group. I think this is why Mike Flanagan has kind of broke out from that group, is because he has yet to have one of those big bombs.
No.
Although, Dr. Sleep didn't do great at the box office, but it was critically acclaimed, and it's a very, 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 very good movie. It just was totally mismarketed.
Yeah. I love Dr. Sleep. That is, I watched that with Tony, and they get to the one scene with that boy when you see what like the whole gang really gets up to, and Tony just lost it. And we couldn't.
It's horrific.
It's so undersung. Like I get a little like nerd ragey when things like Megan or whatever like catch the eye of so much media attention. And it's like, but this movie is so good. I wish people would like really give it a chance. Like, it's so awesome.
I think that there's a lot of that though. If you look at a lot of horror, like
well, shit, even the first Shining wasn't.
Yeah, Eyes Without a Face was critically panned.
Yeah.
For a number of years, and then people started to re-examine it, and they were like, Did you guys just not like this because it was a horror movie? Because it's a really good movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of that.
Or even The Thing. Probably one of the most one of the best movies ever made, and it was so savaged. It's insane. It's insane. But then again, like, I don't know, if you look at some of the like horror especially has always been treated like it's just like it seems to always be just a step above like porn in the eyes of critics. It's always like, well, it's so stupid.
I think
trashy,
I think it's Mick Garris who refers to it all the time. Horror is a ghetto.
Oh.
And if you get out of the ghetto, a lot of people when they get out, they stay out. Mm-hmm. But certain directors come back because they actually love the genre.
Yeah.
You'll see like Cronenberg will dip his toes back in. Doesn't make full-fledged horror movies anymore, but it's because he actually has something to say, with a horrific bend.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, he's just moved his aesthetics onto different stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I don't know. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get off on a rant, and we should get on to our next one. Not rant, but movie that is.
Blue Sunshine.
Yeah, tell us about it. I have not seen this.
Blue Sunshine's a weird little movie that had popped up in my Shudder feed for a while, and I had kept it in my watch list because I'd heard somebody talk about it. They were like, oh, it's a kind of a weird anti-drug 70s movie. The whole premise is just that, like, 3,000 people took this batch of acid in the 60s, and 10 years later, they just start to go crazy. All their hair falls out, and they just go on murder rampage. So this guy who's there when one of the first ones happens, who gets blamed for it, is trying to figure out what the hell happened to his friend who murdered some of their mutuals. And he starts to unravel all this. And as people are just losing their shit, like a cop loses his shit, shoots his whole family, shoots a dog for like no reason before being stopped and killed by the cops when they arrive. The biggest thing is their hair falls out. So it's kind of a little bit of that kind of 70s dystopian, like the government's out to get you, kind of political thriller because the person who sold the acid is now running for Congress. So like does not want to get it out. So they're also doing some shady shit on the side. It's like it doesn't reside in that top tier of 70s dystopianism, with things like Soylent Green, Planet of the Apes type of stuff. I think it falls like a tier or two below that because the budget is really pretty low. I like it. There's some rough kills in it. I mean, the kills start happening like 10 minutes into the movie, and then we get a lull, and then we get some more kills. And there is a scene where we're watching this woman who used to be married to the guy who's running for Congress because he just dealt the drugs. He didn't take them.
Oh yeah.
But his wife did. And she's watching her neighbor's kids, and she just starts to fucking wig out. Ooh. And her hair starts to fall out, and they go from the kids.
Oh, you mean it happens like that? Yeah,
quick? It just like comes out in chunks. The kids are like hollering for Dr. Pepper, and the movie just layers that sound like a billion times. So you like start to get like overwhelmed by the voices of children just screaming for Dr. Pepper. And you're like, God, it's a short thing, but I mean, the main character also feels kind of like an unreliable narrator because he's a weirdo and he acts really weird all the time. So you're like, are you on this shit?
Yeah.
But the final like showdown with this political guy's kind of best buddy who used to play football at Stanford, who's this massive dude. When he loses his shit in the disco, it is amazing. He literally lawn darts a woman. He just picks her up over his head like Ultimate Warrior style and just launches her into a crowd. You're like, fuck, this is getting off the chain. Yeah, it's a weird fun movie like that way. I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Clonus?
Yes.
Parts the Clonus horror.
Parts of the Clonus horror.
There's definitely fun. Like that. These two movies share a vibe.
Okay.
So there's that. I mean,
would this be as easily riffable as Parts of the Clonus horror is?
No, it's far. It's far bloodier.
Oh.
It's yeah. I mean, those. I don't want to spoil it, but one of the kills is at the beginning as a guy throws a girl in headfirst into a fireplace, and she's trying to fight her way out, and he just stands there and keeps kicking her back in. Whoa. And you're like, what the fuck? Because it just happens out of the blue.
Oh wow!
It's rough.
It sounds like the fun kind of like crazy intense. Well, like
it is
for a horror context.
It's like super up and down because it's like crazy intense, and then a lot of like running around, like intrigue stuff, hiding from the cops, background shit, and then somebody else will pop off, and then you're like, oh my god. And the ending's one of those like it just ends, and then there's a screen that's like, you know, so and so was proven innocent on all charges.
Oh, I love.
But there's still like out of like the 3,000 doses of blue sunshine consumed. 250,000 people have not been identified. So it's kind of like this thing, like, yeah, this shit's gonna keep happening for a while.
Kind of like the Crazies a little bit, like
I said, yeah, it's very much in the this would be a good double feature with the Crazies. It's less intense, and in your face as either version of the Crazies, which you know both those versions of that movie are really good. It's definitely a good. I think I called it like in my write-up like a companion piece. That's how I would probably label it. A good companion piece.
All right. Cool,
Worth the watch. Oh, I know where this goes.
Yeah, dude. Put it up there.
You recommended this movie.
Yeah, I did. And I'm proud of it. This movie. Vincent D'Onofrio is terrifying. He is fucking terrifying as a serial killer who opens the movie up by just murdering this woman, and he abducts her little boy and begins grooming him into a protege of sorts, and directed by Jennifer Lynch.
I think my interpretation of it was he just wanted someone to kick the shit out of and not be a slave. And the more he had to deal with the shit he was traumatized by, the more he was like, well, I can do better. I can be better. Like that was the thing that was so hard for me to rectify is when they start trying to humanize him. And then, you know, he starts trying to mold Rabbit into that thing where he's like, you're not just going to fucking know nothing. I mean, cause all that stuff, all that motivation for that comes from nightmares.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he has a plan, which is weird because he has a plan for everything else. He's very, very, very good at what he does.
Yeah. Yeah. Like this is not,
this is not a fun watch.
No, it's not. It's not at all. And
it's a good movie, but it's not a fun movie.
Yeah. There's some twists too that like really feel like gut punches. Like what the fuck? And yeah, but I cannot recommend this enough, and I don't want to get like too far into spoilery territory.
No, I don't think we should. I would say this is a movie that if you really like horror and you're okay with some heavy, you know, rape, murder, abuse, you know, that's pretty bad. That's the one thing I thought was interesting was how violent D'Onofrio is with the women. We don't see it a whole lot on screen, but it is terrifyingly implied. And how,
which makes it worse,
not violent he is with Rabbit unless he feels he has to be. Like after that time when Rabbit tries to escape the first time, he really doesn't go at him again. He threatens him, but he never does what he said he's going to do.
Which is
very much, I think, a product of like what he went through, and he's like not going to revisit. It's a weird dynamic.
It is. It's a really deep character study that's got just brutal moments littered throughout, but it's
is it better than The Lodge? We haven't been putting these in order. Let's start here. Is your next better than Cast a Deadly Spell?
No.
Okay. Is Chained better than The Lodge?
Yeah, yes. Because there's a few criticisms I'd have for
I'm assuming we would probably do this.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, definitely. I'd put Chained at the top of the good but hard to watch. Easy. It's something else. Like, it really is. And Jennifer Lynch is a wonderful director.
Yeah.
And the kid who plays Rabbit is fantastic, and I wish I saw more of him. I think the only other thing I've seen him in was Twin Peaks: The Return, and he played such a fucking shit heel in that, and I just hated him. And then I saw that first, so then to go to this, where my heart just was like, oh my god, dude, like,
it breaks.
Yeah, wonderful actor. Hope to see more of him. But yeah, that's where I'd put that. Ooh, tell me all about Demonia.
It's a Fulci movie. I didn't think it was that good.
Okay. No, that happens.
It's pretty to look at. It's full of Italian dream logic, which is kind of, Argento and Fulci's get out of jail free card, get out of cinema jail free. It's dream logic. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you're a Fulci guy, if you're an Italian horror guy, yes, but I would not watch it again. It's not because it's terrible. It's just there's other movies that I want to see that are better.
Yeah, totally know what you mean. There's a movie on list later that I felt totally that way about it. Like, yeah.
The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster.
Yeah, I've seen this around, but I have not watched it yet.
I'll put it here on this list. I've seen these other two movies, and I don't think it quite lives up to those two. But it's a damn good movie. It's basically Black America Frankenstein.
Hey.
It's got all the social messaging you would want out of an urban movie like this, about urban blight and about the Black community being put in a situation where it preys on itself. Mm-hmm. And you have a lead character. I can't think of her name right now. She's great. She's so good. Because she is she is a nicer version of Peter Cushing's Dr. Frankenstein. Because while she wants to do things, she wants to beat death.
Mm-hmm.
She's lost some family members.
Okay, yeah.
And she thinks death is a disease and that you can cure it. So she's going to find the cure. And she loses her brother, and she brings him back. And he is not what he was.
Yeah.
But it has a strangely uplifting ending.
Yeah.
Bizarrely uplifting.
Okay.
She's just really good. I really enjoyed this movie. If you like Frankenstein stuff, if you want to see your Frankenstein stuff mixed with like New Jack City, this is a pretty good.
I love that description.
Not even New Jack City, it'd be more like Boys in the Hood almost. But most of it takes place like in like a ring of complexes, and she's got a little homemade laboratory in a blocked off part of the building, and she's been busy.
I'm intrigued.
She's super likable. Like, did you watch The Alchemist Cookbook?
I don't think I did. No.
Watched it a couple years ago. It's very independent, very low budget, kind of slow. But the main character I loved in that because it was like this cast off African American guy living out in the middle of nowhere who's determined to like make a deal with the devil, basically.
Mm.
And I really love like that kind of outcast within an outcast society, and that dogged like determination, like I would rather die than be wrong.
Yeah.
And she's that same type of character where she's like, I'd rather be dead than have to say you were right.
Okay.
So yeah, I really enjoyed that movie. I highly recommend it. I hope you enjoy it as well.
Yeah, man.
Lights Out. I probably would put Lights Out here.
Yeah. I think it's very much kind of a mainstream horror flick, but then it takes some turns that are like, whoa. And also,
I think I'd put it here. There's some
the horror in it's really unsettling at times.
There's some significant similarities between these two movies.
Okay.
Which is interesting.
Okay.
I do think this is much better though.
Okay. Yeah, no, I like Lights Out has some it's got the glaring Hollywood problem of like everyone's attractive. Everyone's so goddamn pretty. And it's just like
okay, the primary like leads, the girlfriend and boyfriend, are barely tolerable.
Yeah. Oh
like
no.
Their relationship, especially at the beginning, I know they're trying to be kind of cutesy with it. It's gross. It is manipulative, gaslighting, fucked up, gross.
Yeah.
Like if you're that guy, you need to run for the fucking hills. If you listen to me, if you've been with someone for 6 months, you've been intimate like all the time, but they don't want you to stay in their house at all, and they won't let you even keep a fucking sock in their home, and you're in love with them, and they're like, I like you. You need to fucking leave. It does not matter your gender or the relationship. Fuck, if a doctor did that to me, I would probably go see a different doctor. I mean, he is no better because he's trying to be manipulative by leaving shit there, which is gross as well.
Yeah. It's
not a healthy relationship at all.
No. There's a lot of mental health red flags happening all over this movie. And not just like with the characters themselves, but just like, what were you thinking when you wrote this kind of a deal? Like in regards to what this movie is ostensibly about and what all this represents. What this is, Lights Out. We've got this woman who's been plagued all her life with bouts of depression, and when it hits, she secludes herself, and like lights have to go out in the house, and she's barely available to her kids in a way, and she's speaking to herself, or it seems like she's speaking to someone very vividly, and we find out there actually is someone there. It's this really spooky spectral form of this fucking asshole little girl,
all grown up.
Yeah, all grown up, who is haunting her best friend, and she comes in, and like depression, she wants the mom all for herself. And
I think they really had something there.
They did. Oh, they really did.
Because I think it was kind of getting close to like Babadook territory, and it felt like a movie where then a focus group was like, I don't get it.
Yeah,
and then the producer was like, we need more scares. We need more jump scares, and we need more handsy people. Bring us more handsome people.
Yeah. And it's very like the villain in it is very effective. Like when you see her just bathe in like just the slightest glimmer of light, just all in shadow, and you see these little pinpricks of what her eyes are, like it sends like little goose pimples up my arms and stuff. And especially when Maria Bello, who is doing awesome work here. Awesome work.
She's good. I can't think of things she's bad in. Yeah.
She's never been bad. When she is plaintively, like just earnestly trying to have a connection with her family, and then you see her all of a sudden cut over to absolute obsidian darkness, and engage that, it is so just that, like,
that's something I'm stealing for D&D.
Yeah, just
because I absolutely that was to me the best part of the whole movie is that first time she does it, and she's turning and she's like and it's so unsettling.
It's so no, it creeps it like you, and by this time you've already seen, like, because the movie opens with like a pretty decent kill with, and you see what the power set is and kind of the rules of this monster. So you've seen the monster already for the most part. And just a woman talking to nothing, it's the way it's done, the way she does it, the way it all of a sudden cuts out of this conversation she's having to, oh God, there's so I think there's a lot of people.
There's a mundanity to it, a mundane nature to her interaction.
Yeah,
that makes you know this happens all the time.
Yeah,
which is even scarier. It's almost again that thing. What you're not seeing is almost even scarier than what you see.
And oh my God, I would probably rate this movie even higher if they had played it out like that more without revealing their hand.
But they had to. It's a PG-13, studio movie.
And that's why I can't rate it higher enough. Also, the ending is a complete letdown to the movie and fails all the characters on every level. Which it sucks because I'm with it.
In fact, because of
that ending,
we're doing this.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's much better made than Dead Dudes in the House. I'll say that. So that's why I would put it above.
It's much better made than Blue Sunshine, but this has a 10 times better ending.
Yeah. I don't know. I would love to sit down with the director and just pick his brain about, okay, what was
how did the studio system screw you?
Yeah, and also I'd just like to say the short movie that is based on, wildly different, completely different, but also very, very good. And the monster in that, fucking terrifying. Very different, but same kind of premise is going on. All right, but then we go to
Pet Sematary Bloodlines. Haven't watched it. You watched it. Where does it go? I'm thinking probably
what? I'm gonna
A-OK or
I'm saying A-OK. I couldn't put it Spoopy approved for sure, but like
where in this?
Oh God, this is hard because I haven't seen Angry Black Girl. But I would put this above Your Next because I could probably put this on and watch it almost as much as Cast Deadly Spell. It turned out like, and I'll be honest, like the first half hour, I was very much of the opinion of like, fuck this movie. Like, I was just like, this is going to be just some shitty ass cash in. And it was so like, oh, we've got a bunch of pretty people and they're doing pretty stupid shit. And like the main character is very much in like, oh, I'm the hunk. And then like, I'm sitting there watching it. My wife comes by and I'm like, you know what? This is such a cool like concept, the whole idea of Pet Sematary. I wish they'd do this thing. Why don't they go back to when like the settlers first came into this area and showed us how like the native tribes, and then 5 minutes later the movie starts doing that. And from there on out, the movie starts doing everything I wanted to do. And I had to text Tony, my wife, like a bunch of times to be like, it's doing this now and it's doing that, and she's like, oh, that's great. I'm like, no, this is blowing my mind that this movie is like course correcting itself in the most wild way in real time while I'm watching it. But it does, and it becomes such a fun movie. And it's really good. So it's the Pet Sematary universe. Our main character is Judd Crandall, a young Judd Crandall.
Sometimes dead is better.
Don't go down that road because the ground's sour. But this is not, unfortunately, it's not that wonderful Judd Crandall.
Pepper Farm remembers.
This is John Lithgow Judd Crandall from the 2019 remake. And so this is set in the backdrop with the Vietnam War, which does play into this, not in any kind of preachy way, but just to inform the characters, their history, where they lie, and things like that. And it's this small town, Ludlow, and it's just, yeah, you see this, it's just this small little town. You see these kids. It's that classic tale. There's kids who want to get away, but this town has a way of trapping people in it, and then it literally starts in a way trapping people when the dead start coming back in that bad way that they do in that Pet Cemetery style. And it becomes this kind of small scale, like invasion kind of movie where it's the dead invading, and it's good. Our main character goes through a whole set of changes. There's a wonderful brother and sister duo. I'm blanking on their names right now, but played by Indigenous actors, and I wish they had been the focus, because they have a really rich dynamic, and the story around them is really good. We've got veteran actors like Henry Thomas, little boy from E.T., Samantha Mathis,
from all Mike Flanagan movies.
All Mike Flanagan movies, basically, yeah. Samantha Mathis,
one of the Flanagan players.
Pam Grier showing up, doing a good little bit of work, and David Duchovny is playing a wonderful grizzled David Duchovny. But yeah, and it gets fun, it gets spooky. There's really unsettling moments that happen. There's bits of body horror that's really like ooey gooey. Wonderful soundtrack, wonderful use of sound. You hear throughout this movie, there's this kind of like weird grinding noise, and when you find out what that's coming from, it's kind of like, oh fuck, wow. I loved it. This was way better than it had any right to be as the prequel to a remake. And I loved it. High praise. I'm definitely going to watch it again. It gets to a real intense but fun ending. And then it really sets the board for, I mean, I hear there's a plan that they're going to do more installments just use this property more. And I really hope they do. Super Spike, ooh, what do you have to say? Look at hey,
you're good.
You're awesome, buddy. You're doing great. It's good to hear from you again. But yeah, I give it my A-OK stamp. I think it's a good time. It's a good time, and it's such a good time. You'll return to it again and again. Ooh, yeah, I'd agree.
Lake Mungo's great. It's got a lot of twists and turns, probably two more than it needed, but it actually works. It's almost like it's like just loaded with wrestling swerves. But man, it's a movie about grief. It's a movie about loss. It's a movie about coping. It's a movie about the secrets we keep. And it's a faux documentary, and it's a well done faux documentary.
It's one of the best of that genre.
Unlike something we'll talk about a little bit later. So yeah, I highly recommend Lake Mungo. It's very, very, very good.
Yeah, completely. I'm right there with you. Yeah.
Let Us Pray.
Be warned.
I think so. I like this.
I liked it a lot too.
I would probably put it there.
Hold on, I gotta get alarms going off on my phone. One second.
I liked this a lot, but there's some definite and definitive clunkiness to it. I was just saying, like, I like this a lot, but there's some definitive and definite clunkiness to it.
There's definite glaring issues to this movie, but it is.
But the ending is because it's not at all what you think you're gonna get.
Yeah, no. And when it comes up, I'm like, I was legit talking out loud to my TV. I was like, why is this like? There should be more. Like,
this is a movie that actually made me more want to see a sequel than watch this movie.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. have it redone in a way where the end is like the middle and we get a good another hour of what's about. But like, oh my God, it ends on a very definite high note where you're just like, yeah.
I think the ending saves it from this
shock
next category.
Oh, totally. And but you know what? Like Liam Cunningham, the lead is awesome. He is, or he's not. He's our co-lead, I'd say. The real lead is Pollyanna McIntosh, who's this tough as nails cop, Scottish cop. First night in this new little shitty precinct that seems to be the last place you'd ever want to have to be detailed, and just filled with just the most degenerate stereotypes of any kind of cops ever.
Judgment comes for everyone. That's
yes,
basically the tag of it.
And it comes in the form of Liam Cunningham, and he was a mysterious stranger who might have otherworldly powers.
Origins,
Of course he does. Of course he does. But it's the fun of it. It's awesome. Awesome in like the most like schlocky, grindhousey way. You do have to like kind of like, oh God, okay, all right, like make amends here and there with some of like the real like this is like definitely there's 14-year-old me, I'll say it like this, 14-year-old me would have been like, this is the shit, and like told everyone like this is my movie. 38-year-old me is like, it had a really good ending and there was parts on the way there that I did enjoy. But yeah, no, it's not for everyone, but you might like it. There is definitely things to like in this. But I can't say it's absolute trash, but it is bordering there. But it has some major saving graces, particularly a fucking bug nuts, wonderful, out of left field, glorious ending. So, yeah.
I don't think you're going to fight me on this. Murder Party is an A-okay with us. I really liked Murder Party.
I'm spoopy with that one. Murder Party is, I would. Murder Party hits every note.
I can't disagree. Murder Party is great.
It feels like if John Carpenter directed a horror comedy. Like
it's a bloody dinner for schmucks.
Yes, exactly. Yes. That is the best. Yeah, you put it like that.
And it also has someone get killed with an electric chainsaw, which is the funniest shit ever.
Every death is so deserved.
Yeah.
And you really relish it. You as the audience you take on just the most gleeful disposition watching this. At least I did. I was like, I don't know. I think you said the same thing. You're giggling by some of these kills towards
that
the end.
Last 20 minutes. I was cackling at times.
Yeah,
that entire chase scene was fucking hilarious. The lead protagonist is such just a cipher. Until the sodium pentothal truth or dare thing where he's forced to tell the truth about that story. And after that, I'm like, this guy's all right. And then shit just goes sideways, continues to go sideways for him. It's just it's a fucking fun movie.
It's so fun. The one thing I'd like to put, like, if you want to know what kind of character this is, they lay it out right in the first scene. He's the guy who really likes candy corn, and he's got dominance issues with his cat. Sir Lancelot.
It's not Sir, it's Mr. Lancelot.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Mr. Lancelot, I'd like you to get on my chair, please.
Yeah.
Mr. Lancelot.
Oh my God. But it's
never mind.
It's the best. It's so good. It's a wonderful small movie. It taps into that like Evil Dead energy where it's just, you can tell people are doing this on a smaller budget, but they're giving it their all. And I have nothing bad to say about that movie. No. Oh, nothing at all.
No one will save you.
Okay.
I've not seen this.
This might be controversial, but I've watched it twice now. I would put it up in Spoopy for me. It's damn fine. It's a damn good movie. And if you see this and you feel otherwise later, we'll definitely readjust its ranking if we do rankings again. But it's a one-woman show for the most part. This younger actress, oh god, I'm gonna blank. It's amazing. It's so slickly done. It's so clever. It's very much it's a movie about an outcast who is, no one will say, like, she is outcast to her community. All of her support structures in her life are completely gone, and she is definitely struggling to find a place in her isolation. And once you know it, a fucking alien invasion happens right in the middle of it, and it is awesome. It has a lot to do about grief, forgiveness, agency, and it's got one of the simultaneously most brutal but also, like, all right, uplifting and empowering endings I've ever seen in a movie. And I think once more people get their eyes on this, I think it's an instant classic. It's so good. It is so good. On Hulu, it's a Hulu original. It's worth your time. It's a powerhouse. And here we go. The Autopsy of Jane Doe. This is great. It's a great movie.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Cox. It's basically a two-person movie for the most part.
Yeah.
Neil Hirsch is a terrible human being, but he does a pretty good job in this movie.
He's a good actor, but yeah.
Brian Cox carries the weight.
Oh yeah,
it's a great little mystery. And then when things start to go wrong, it's got almost like a British horror flavor to it, like British ghost story horror theme to it. And it just continues to unravel. The mystery continues to unravel, and then you start to realize some very horrible things. It's a very, very good movie. I would recommend you watch it.
Yeah.
Dust Devil.
All right. Dust Devil. South African. A-okay for me. It's from Richard Stanley.
Where would you put it on the list of A-okay?
Oh God. You know what? I would put it maybe on the tail end, because once again I haven't seen Angry Black Girl, but I'd feel like You're Next, even Autopsy of Jane Doe, are more accessible than this, but I think it is very up there. It's a stylish movie. It's beautifully shot. It makes wonderful use of its setting, the desolation of, like, the South African kind of outback, necessarily, I guess it is, but also is beautifully shot. Wonderful magnetic performance from Robert John Burke. Once you see him, you'll know who he is. He's just one of those actors you've seen. If you aren't aware of him already, you've seen him in a ton of stuff. He is a shape-shifting, otherworldly ancient entity who is trapped in basically a human suit and needs to do blood rituals in order to kind of build currency to free himself from the confines. He can only take the lives of those people who are at the end of the rope, people who are about to commit suicide.
Oh, Colin, you froze.
Down.
Oh, there you go.
Huh?
You froze. Your picture still froze for me, but your voice came back.
Yeah, he finds people who are at their lowest point in life and kills them, and that's the only people he can take. Based on South African folklore, there's a lot of a lot of tinges of this mysticism in it. There's kind of a shaman character. There's vital information here and there to our protagonists. Tila from Masters of the Universe is also our female lead, and she kicks fucking ass in this. She's really good. Like, the character becomes sort of a Sarah Connor in a way, like she's just taking no shit. Also, there's a wonderful South African actor, and I'm forgetting his name right now, but he plays this detective and who's aware of what's going on, is trying to get to this girl to help her, and it's but it's a wonderful spooky story. There's a twisted romance.
Colin, I keep losing
There's
you.
dialogue in here that is just like, oh man. The dialogue's just beautiful. It's wonderful. I'm just gonna start repeating myself over and over. So yeah, Dust Devil it's up there for me. There's some points where probably you can't, I wouldn't put it all the way up there, but yeah, dude, it's worth your time. Check it out, hunt it down. This is a goddamn good movie, but
I would probably go all the way to here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I would. Yeah.
I'm tempted for okay with us. We dug it, but I don't know if everyone would like this.
It's
Fasadin
it's heavy.
And
Crampton
again, just killing it together.
They're a good duo.
They're a very, very good duo. It's again a movie about loss.
Yeah.
No theme here. And ghosts, and also then there's some other stuff going on. I don't want to spoil it. You should watch.
No. Yeah. We don't want to give too much.
Dark Knight Scarecrow, I feel like is an S for me.
Yeah, I'd put it up there, especially for what it does with what it is. A TV movie from late 70s, or is it very early 80s?
I think early 80s, I think.
Yeah, but TV movie that with little gore, but very effective sense of style, wonderful use of what they have. There's shots in this movie that are going to stay with me that just are beautifully haunting. And some that are just straight up haunting.
Pervasive vibe of this movie.
Yeah.
Like it's got a vibe, and it's just like it's gonna just wallow in that vibe.
Yeah. And it doesn't hurt at all. Best character actors of the time. Like it's oh god, like Charles Durning is such a fucking scumbag in this, which is so weird to say, because usually he's like, oh, it's like I almost think of him as like my TV grandpa, Charles Durning, because he's usually a lovable old man. What a scumbag he is in this. But wow, yeah. Actors are all swinging for the fences. Nothing is played schmaltzy or leans into the offensive territory, especially with the main character of Bubba, of trying to elicit sympathy. They play it honest, and I applaud them in the early 80s for doing that. That's remarkable.
That's not exactly what the early 80s were known for.
No, especially with this actor, and a kind of similar role he will take on in LA Law, where it's just like, what the fuck? Like,
I think he's better in Dark Knight of the Scarecrow.
Oh, completely. And he plays it. It's much more real. If you've ever known anyone with any intellectual disabilities, like you will. Oh, and it's not a mocking portrayal. And I applaud. Great movie. Don't want to go too much into it. Just watch it. It's a Stone Cold classic. But we go. Oh yeah. Well, oh, really? Be warned. Why would you?
Some people don't like spider stuff. My brother-in-law will be terrified by this. I debated putting it up here, but I don't think this movie was a home run. I think it was very much a double. There's a lot of it did right. There was a lot of it that was just kind of like, and I watched this one early on, and the more stuff that I've watched since, I've been like, well, this is better than that. This is better than that. Yeah. This is better than that. So to me, it's like, I think also if you don't have a lot of attachment to the visual style from those books,
yeah,
some of this just isn't going to be that spooky to you.
That's true. No, that's very true.
It's a very good, like, in between Goosebumps and Fear Street. It doesn't quite hit Fear Street level of like, whoa, and it doesn't go as goofy as
Goosebumps. Yeah.
Although I will say, I love the Goosebumps movie.
Goosebumps movie is great.
Great.
I love that one a lot. It's very fun. My kids and I enjoyed it quite a bit.
All right, Hellfest.
Hellfest. I think it's oh god.
I'm guessing it's going to be one of these two categories.
Yeah, I think I'd have to, because it's. I don't think I'll ever watch it again, to be honest. But like,
better than Let It Spray.
Yeah, because it's consistent throughout. Then there's big spooky, like kind of
better than We Are Still Here.
No, oh no. Okay. No.
Where it is.
Yeah, I'd say keep it right there. Big scary spoopy amusement park full of spoopy attractions. One of the people there's a killer. Who is it? We don't know. Picking off all these people. Nothing too new. You've kind of seen this before with movies like Funhouse and things like that.
Terror Train.
Yeah.
Terror Train in an amusement park.
Yeah, and I mean it's competent. It's got a good ending that is okay, that's really interesting. But it's just so it's very middle of the road. There's really no bad performances, but there's really no good performances. Nothing's bad or necessarily outstanding. It's competent. It's good for what it is.
Yeah, be warned. I mean, you may like it, you may not.
Yeah, and you could forget about it easily, but while you're watching it, you most likely will enjoy it. Yeah.
I believe Slaughterhouse is going to go in the A because you were over the moon with this movie.
No, this is an S.
Oh, is it that high?
I fucking love this movie. I thought this was just going to be dumb fun. I had no idea these people were like, we're going to actually put some goddamn thought into this and make this like a really, I don't even want to use clever because I feel like clever shortchanges it. It's smart. It's an intelligent. Slaughterhouse is very intelligent. It knows what it is. It's doing everything wonderfully. They use a goddamn Muppet. There's a sloth Muppet that's killing off sorority sisters. At one point, and the reality they set for this movie is just the wildest shit ever. Because at one point, the sloth gets up and starts clickety clacking on the girl's like computer to like dig up dirt on her enemies in the sorority. And then like later we see it like it's blowing whistles and calling like shots at like the volleyball game. It's sitting poolside and cracking beers. It's got a little car it drives around in. Later we find out it's been taking selfies. It has a whole social media following of its own, and it knows the premise is stupid, and it plays it it plays it straight without being too serious about it, so it has a sense of fun. It is a wonderful, sublime horror comedy, and you wouldn't think it. Just by everything you see about it, I thought I was going to have a fun time. I didn't know I was going to fall in love. That's my tagline for Slaughterhouse.
The Clove Hitch Killer. I put it, trigger warning, I put it after Chained and not before. This shocked me. It's really good. It's really good. It's really fucked up though.
Yeah.
These two movies fall in very similar veins.
Oh, yeah. This would be the most depressing double feature. You would need like a day to decompress after this.
Dylan McDermott, that's the actor, right?
Yes. Oh God. Dylan McDermott
usually plays a handsy leading hunk guy.
Oh yeah.
In this movie.
No, he is full on Dennis Rader. Like he's
just very like, BTK.
Yeah. This guy, he just looks
the
like
gaslighting he does to his kid is rough to watch. All of it's rough to watch. It's a good movie though.
It's everyone is acting it perfectly, but the material at hand is so sinister for the sake of the movie, but not in like a cruel, like edgelordy way. It's just like, this is an evil character and he's doing some evil shit. But it's superb on that level, but it's not going to be for everyone. It is hard to sit down for, but it's rewarding to get through.
The Seventh Sign.
Don't bother with this stupid piece of shit. Demi Moore.
What is this?
Via.
Oh, well, fucking, I'm gonna put this where it belongs.
Yes, dude. Yes.
Yeah, this movie sucks balls. It's real bad. It
sucks. It's so stupid.
It wasn't good when it came out.
No. And the weird thing is, I had always heard people like, the Seventh Sign. You need to see the Seventh Sign. Whoever you were in my past that recommended that to me, go fuck off. Yeah, you do not need to. Yeah, Super Spike, right. No, man, I hated this movie. It was dumb.
Was it worse than Blood and Honey? Because you didn't put Blood and Honey up here.
No, that was a sneaky one. I didn't even want to put it on my list because I was like, this is good. No. Nah, it's not as bad. Blood and Honey is such trash. Women's shirts just fall off their bodies before they get grisly murdered. I'm like, oh, fuck that. Even though I like boobies, but not like that. This is just, it's sanctimonious and preachy, but also has no idea of what it's trying to be sanctimonious and preachy about. It fails on any kind of promise of drama or horror. There's boobs, yes. And Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, there are titties.
All right, we're moving on. Yeah. V is tremendous. Another classic.
Wonderful.
Hell yes. It's just a great folklore, black and white-esque. I don't even know if it's black and white because there's some blues in it.
There's
there's so
once
much
you get to the ending, there's wonderful color.
Yeah, but so much of it is so toned down because of the setting. The main character is kind of a shit bag.
He is. I was so struggling with this movie when I started watching it because he's such a fucking douchebag. And the opening where all the monks are running and just fucking vandalizing people, grabbing women to take them off to what. It's just like, these are our heroes? Like, what? And then he just straight up murders the woman. Straight up fucking murders her. And but then the movie proved it's not the movie I thought it was. Yeah. And it becomes fucking smart. It's funny as shit.
It's very so much funny. Got a proto Evil Dead vibe to it.
Yeah, it does. And the finale is one of the wildest things I've ever seen. Even at this
today,
point in my life,
special effects are great.
Oh, and the special effects in this movie are outstanding. It is, even when you figure out, I see what they're doing there. It is so charming and so. It enhances the story every way. Get away from CG. Just get more things that rotate scenery in the background while you have a guy jogging. It fucking works. And I love this movie. Via. Watch it. Great. It's stone cold classic. It's so good.
I don't know if you've watched this yet. I Am Not a Serial Killer.
Not yet. It is on my list.
Christopher Lloyd is really good in it. And as someone who has spent a lot of time working with people with significant mental health issues, including antisocial personality disorder, including having I can't think of what I'm trying to say now. Not just suicidal, but homicidal impulse control issue.
Yeah.
The young man in this movie is great because he is diagnosed with basically psychopathy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh yeah.
And a lot of it is him, you're seeing him in a lot of ways describe how he is able to function.
Mitch is in the house. That's what that gasp was for, Mitch. If you caught that, I was so excited to see you pop up, buddy.
He gets confronted by a bully at one point who's treated him like shit earlier in the middle of a dance, and he just says, "You know, I have a thing that I have to do, so I don't do bad things because you're not a person to me. None of you are. You're just things." And sometimes you are things that get in the way. And to keep me from getting you out of the way, I choose to say complimentary things like your shirt is very nice today. Boy, you can really dance. And he says like 2 or 3 other things. The kid's just like fucking eyes are just bugging out. He's like, "You psycho." And he's like, pretty much.
I am a sucker for a performance where there's just, you can see the inner workings of the character and
but it's never like, "Ooh, I'm crazy." It's more just like this. It's got
realistic.
It's the flat effect.
Yeah.
Like there's a couple conversations he has with his psychologist who's like, will ask him questions about like different things like that. And he tells him like, why do that? So I don't do what you're all afraid I'm going to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a good coping mechanism?
Yeah.
It's what works for me currently.
Yeah.
There, there's a really interesting dynamic there. There's some weird supernatural shit that actually makes weird sense at the end. But this is a really good flick. But you're talking about serial murder. You're talking about severe mental illness and poor coping mechanisms. You're talking, I mean, at one point he goes to this buddy of his and he's like, "I need to hang out with you." He's like, "Okay, well, why?" And he goes, "Because when I hang out with you because it makes me feel normal." And the kid's like, "What is that supposed to mean?" "Me hanging out with you equates to normalcy." And he said, "So we've been hanging out and friends for 3 years and you just do that like you would take a pill?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Get the fuck out of my house." Because he's like, they're teenagers. He's like, "Fuck you. We're not friends. You've been using me." And that's real heartbreaking. And that's shit that fucking goes on.
Oh yeah, no, like just to speak, like I used to work in mental health, adult foster care. With people who've had very, very violent episodes, murder even, and that flat affectation, that is, it's an unsettling thing to come against in real life, and I applaud when actors can portray that subtlety of true illness.
I've spent my entire life working with people with disability, and generally working with some of the more difficult people in the upper Midwest, in some cases the most difficult people in the upper Midwest. I was a trainer as well for 10 years. And I would tell people all the time, if someone's yelling, kicking, spitting, screaming, throwing their feces at you, all that's fine.
Yeah.
Because they can calm down. It's when someone looks at you and says something like, "You better not sleep tonight." "Well, why, Jeremy?" "Because when you close your eyes, I'm going to cut your throat."
Yeah.
And says it with just that flat effect because they're looking at you as an obstacle and not a person.
Yeah.
That's when you need to worry.
Yeah. Or one thing that haunts me, and not to be like just trading awful stories. I've seen, I'm not going to go into the details, but I've once.
We lost Colin. He's
glass door and commit an act of self-harm with just nothing there. And it's terrifying when you come face to face with that. And
I had somebody I worked with for 3 years, and right after I left, I had a friend working with him, someone who had worked with me at another company 3 hours away, was very competent. This person had such a good track record for so long, was finally able to go on like a mini vacation to the cabin, and within 20 minutes had stabbed the person underneath the armpit when they reached up to grab him a glass for him. And when I was able to talk to this person and say, "Well, why did you do that?" "I don't know."
Yeah.
I just did it.
Mm-hmm.
You almost killed him. Yeah, I'm really sorry. I just did it. And you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that shit's spooky.
It's chilling and heartbreaking at the same time. It's
all right, Eat Alive is dumb.
Yeah, Eat Alive. Yeah. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good at all. There's no redeeming qualities to it. It's so sad.
It's a step backwards from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Exactly. So I was just gonna say it's so sad to see Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a true masterpiece, a beautiful movie, and then all of a sudden hit whatever the fuck this was. Like, it's just like, Toby, come on. Next, putting it right next down there. Don't Bother. This was a giant cat turd. Yes.
Worse than Seventh Sign. Worse than Eat Alive.
It's got John Lithgow. It's got John Lithgow. So put it in the beginning. It's got John Lithgow. That's all I can say about this. This movie was so dumb, so needless. It's just like any subtlety of the original is gone. It's so on the nose. It so needs to be like, oh, look at this. There's twists in it that are just eye-rollingly like, okay, yeah, wow, neato. Also, my weird thing that I'm gonna die on a hill for over this movie, that little girl got hit by a tanker. She should have exploded on impact, not like, I'm sorry. I know people are going to be like, Colin, calm down. But seriously, that girl should have exploded. Now, I want to forget about this. Okay, and one other cool thing I'll mention about this movie. It featured the Wendigo, which is a presence in the Pet Sematary novel. You get a glimpse of it, and that is fantastic. And John Lithgow's in this movie, and that girl should have exploded, and I'll never, ever watch this again.
Jacob's Wife. I know where I think it should go, but I'll let you.
A or S?
I would put this movie either right at the top of A or definitely at the back end of S. It's very good. I'd probably go more here. I think the performances in this are fantastic.
Yes.
Fazden and again, Fazden and Barbara Crampton, just amazing.
And Fazden playing against type, really, and nailing it. This movie is it's the uncomfortable dissolution of a long, comfortable marriage.
Religious overtones throughout.
Tons of religious overtones. It's a woman finding her womanhood after not having control of it for so long.
I would call this definitively feminist horror.
Yeah. It's all about female rage and shifting power dynamics. I say, little girl, rings on you.
Hey, you missed. I don't know if you missed it earlier. We talked about super yeeting earlier.
Oh yeah.
Blue Sunshine has somebody get thrown like a lawn dart in a disco. So if that doesn't get you intrigued by that movie, nothing will.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Jacob's Wife was it's wonderful. It's a really good vampire flick. Yeah. You can't go wrong with
Chicago Phil's in it.
Yeah, and he does a good job. He plays a really wonderful.
Have you seen Girl on the Third Floor?
No, I hear it's good though. I hear it's worthwhile.
It's very good, and he carries that movie, and he is a complete. He is someone trying to be good who's just a default shitbag.
Yeah,
can't get past his own shittiness.
Yeah, I have not got around to it, but I have not heard anything bad about it, except from people who don't like CM Punk as a wrestler.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like horror people are like, it's good. It's surprisingly good.
It's shockingly good.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Bay of Blood, baby.
Yeah, Bay of Blood is just below S.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't quite get there. I don't think it's Bava's best movie. I think it's good as fuck, but it's really pretty. There's a lot of fun kill. That first kill is wild. Not because of bloody, it's just maniacal.
Unhinged.
It's very much, proto You're Next.
Yeah.
It's
Oh yeah.
it's very Clue-esque in places, and that ending is Baba's sense of humor to a T.
Oh yeah.
If you've ever seen
good.
like Black Sun, no, Black Sabbath is the one with Karloff.
Yes.
That ending of Black Sabbath is also kind of that absurdist, when they pull everything away and you see that it's a set and Karloff's not on a real horse and they're moving all the stuff around and they play the silly music.
Yeah.
And it's like it's just a farce,
Yeah.
The ending of Bay of Blood is kind of that for a slasher movie.
Yeah.
And this has got kills in it that Friday the 13th stole directly.
Oh yeah, no,
scene
totally.
For scene, beat for beat, the kill is completely stolen.
Let's be honest. What hasn't Sean
Cunningham stole?
Elevate his own career.
Yeah, there's not much.
Not much. No.
If it ain't nailed down, maybe he's a
wonderful hack.
This is great though. It's just, if you're going on historical significance, it's right up there. But
yeah.
I just don't. I think this is one of those movies that some people will not be into.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very good. It's very pretty, and Bob is a fucking masterful director.
Yeah.
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 The Dead Hate the Living.
Yeah. Fair.
It's not great.
No.
Serviceably dumb and fun.
They are making Dragon Ball babies, Mitch, and I am all here for it. Not to interrupt you, sorry.
You know what? I think I would go a little bit further. I would probably do that.
I was really annoyed by it with all the constant referencing. It's just like, this is like, I get it. You guys, whoever made this,
wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Too. Well, it came out at the same time around the same time Scream did, so it's very much like, look how meta we are.
Yeah, it's so heavy-handed though, and it's not smart. And yeah, man, don't even bother.
We are just going to go right up here.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
1922's. It's not even a good horror movie. It's just a very good movie.
It's very good. It's very, very good.
Thomas Jane again, second appearance on this movie list so far. I feel like this movie so much reminded me of places around where I grew up. As far as in the breadbasket, the buckle of the Bible Belt, people will talk like this through their teeth. And all they know is the farming in a small town. And if you try to leave the small town, boy, you're just looking at failure. It's great. It's so underseen, I think, because what's the other movie? Gerald's Game came out right around the same time, and I think everybody was like, "Oh shit, Gerald's Game is amazing, one of the best Stephen King adaptations." And I think people forgot this came out.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely.
Have you seen the Tall? I can't even think of a movie with.
That's the other one. Yeah, The Tall Grass.
Yeah, I enjoy that too, and that's with Joe Hill.
Yeah, I think like Netflix had these very, very similar, or not. They're all King kind of products in a way.
Yeah,
kind of. And yeah, I think a few of them got overshadowed, particularly by Gerald's Game. But yeah, man.
Which Gerald's Game is.
That's on my list. I haven't got to it yet.
Yeah, it would be a Spoopy approved way up here. It's amazing. Have you seen it?
Not yet. But 1922.
It's definitely in these top 3 here easily.
Okay, yeah.
But it might end up in here because there's some shit in it.
Oh, I read the book, so I'm ready, and I read it at a way.
No, we both seen it, Mitch. Sorry.
No, I put Death Becomes Her up on top. That's S tier for me. Yeah, Evil Ed's trash.
It's terrible. It's fucking terrible. Piercing.
I did not know about this movie, and I reading your review and then looking it up. I want to see this.
It's good. It's twisted as fuck.
Yeah.
It definitely falls in this category.
All right, man.
Because there is a lot of very much serial killer shit and abuse and people trying to deal with their mental health, and It's one thing when someone, I think, is trying to deal with their desire to kill, trying to stamp it down, and that is ostensibly your main character who becomes an unreliable narrator because of that.
Yeah.
And then you have this woman, this prostitute he plans on killing, who is like, oh, I see you're crazy, and I raise you fucking crazy. It's really good. I don't want to explain it any more than that because it is such a weird ride, and there's an entire segment in the middle of it that's like a drug trip where the visuals get really cool and strange and weird. It's a fun movie, and the ending is great because it's almost kind of, you don't know exactly what happens when the screen goes black. You have ideas that could definitively go one of two ways. One of them is kind of a happy ending, and the other one was not a happy ending at all. And the other one that may be a happy ending may also be a bad ending for everyone else. So, all right, Kill List.
Have not seen.
Kill List goes right the fuck up here.
Oh, wow, okay.
I think I said this in my write-up. There's a part in the middle of the movie where a guy on their kill list, they're kind of stalking. And they watch him at a warehouse, and when he leaves, the main character's like, let's go check the warehouse out. And the other guy's like, let's just go fucking kill the guy. He's like, no, let's check the warehouse out. It's full of porn, just like shelves of porn. These are two former military guys who are now doing murder for hire.
Okay.
And they're like, oh, it's just a bunch of porn. Maybe it's a distributor. Maybe it's some fucked up shit in here, but whoever wants him dead, he's dead. They turn on the TV, and the first guy walks away, and he almost throws up, and he goes, like, don't. He like, just don't go over there. And he goes there and turns it on, and he turns it off, and he goes, I'm just going to annihilate this guy. You never know what's on that tape.
Okay.
But when they knock on his door and he opens the door, and before he can finish saying hello, the one guy's kicked him in the chest. They tie him to a chair, and he's just beating him mercilessly. And this is kind of the big crux turn of the movie, which I thought was brilliant and terrifying, and one of the reasons it ends up where it is on the list.
Okay.
The other character says, hey, you're selling porn, and you're selling some fucked up stuff. Where's the safe? And he's like, I don't have a safe. And he just fucking wails on him again. He goes downstairs, and this is the combination and all this. And he goes, the main character goes, go get the money. And he's like, don't do anything fucking stupid while I'm gone. And he goes, okay, I wasn't planning on it. And he's like, just go get the fucking money. He goes, okay. So he picks up a hammer. When the guy goes downstairs, and he's walking around him, and the guy's tied up, looks at him, and he goes, I'm so glad it's you. I'm so glad they sent you. It's such an honor. I didn't know if they would, but they sent you. This means everything. Thank you. Thank you so much. And he just starts hitting with the hammer, and he just keeps saying, thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Keeps hitting him, and finally just bashes his fucking brains in. You're watching all this.
Yeah.
That's where the movie turns. It's basically, I think I said in my write-up too, it's like, you got a cult movie in my British heist movie. You got a British heist movie in my cult flick. That's this movie. It's as bad as it can get.
Okay.
It's really good, and I will never watch it again.
I'm dare I say, I'm kind of excited to watch it. And
you should be.
Okay.
You should be. Like I said, it's good. It's very good.
But unsettling.
It's completely fucked up. And the ending is dark as dark gets.
Ooh. Okay, I'm there for it. I love depressing.
There's a reason movies. I put it in front of these other two movies. And actually, I would probably do this. Dylan Dog. I still haven't seen Cemetery Man. I did put the Dylan Dog trades in English on my wish list.
Yeah.
On Amazon. This is just miscasting.
Yeah, I've read a few of the Dylan Dog comics, and that's like it's like, whoa, what?
Brandon Routh is a perfect, like, all-American like hero character. Like I thought he was great as Superman. I think he was absolutely stellar as Ray Palmer on all those DC shows.
Yeah.
He was utterly perfect in that role.
Yeah.
Hey man, we just like having you here, Mitch.
Yeah, Mitch, it's great having you, dude.
But as like a dark, brooding noir detective dealing with the undead, vampires, and werewolves, it's just not. He's too stoic and not brooding enough. So
yeah,
it's not a bad movie. It's just not. He's just super miscast.
He's mayonnaise when you want spicy mustard.
Yeah.
If that had been Rupert Everett,
perfect. They would have had to change. Sam Huntington is the sidekick in that, and I generally like Sam Huntington, although he plays pretty much the same character in everything he's in. But again, also I don't think he was cast well on that.
Dude.
Nice. Knife Plus Heart.
Yeah, not seen.
Steel thyself. It's very good, but there is so much man-on-man simulated sex in this movie. It's wild. It takes place during the 70s, low-budget French gay porn scene.
Oh.
The main two characters are a former couple, the main director and writer, and then the editor, and they are no longer together. Mm-hmm. They never really say why those two ladies break up, but it was not amicable. Mm-hmm. And the main character, who's the director, does something in the middle of the movie that makes you go from being tolerable of her to fucking loathing her.
Oh.
She does something so awful. There's a reason it's on this part of the list. It's fucking terrible. Not to mention there's a lot of like the first couple of killings all take place by the killer using a knife inside a dildo. Yeah, not in the way you think exactly. It's good. It's if you like giallo and you want to see giallo through a different lens. If you want to see giallo through a different lens, through a French lens, this is it. It's very prettily shot. It's shot very prettily. The acting's really good. It's got a vibe to it. I enjoyed it very much. It's not for everyone at all. It is a definitively queer movie and a definitively queer horror. Out of any of the queer horror I've watched previously, this is definitely top 3 easily. It's really good. It's just,
I want to see it.
You're seeing it through so many lenses of different things that you're just kind of like, it's one of those movies, a lot like Angry Black Girl and her monster. Like, I'm not a black youth growing up in hard times, you know. I'm not. So like some of my perspective on that's not real. I mean, it's like there's I can enjoy it and I can see the message within it, but the connection isn't really able to formulate. Totally. It's the same thing with like Knife Plus Heart. There's a lot of themes of alienation and being apart, even in a community that's apart. There's a lot of just like fear based upon who you are. I don't understand that because I've never had to walk in that. It's still profoundly affecting, but I think if I was a member of the queer community, this movie would probably be higher rated. If I was queer and I loved horror, regardless of where I am on the LGBTQ plus spectrum, and I loved horror, this movie would be up there. It's very good.
Yeah.
All right, Stage Fright. You did not like this.
Yeah.
I would put Stage Fright right there.
I don't know. It has one of the best openings I've ever seen in a horror movie, which is just this full-on musical numbers going on, and you don't know what's happening. and characters say some wild ass shit that's really hilarious, but I don't know, it just kind of lacks a lot of bite for me. And just I don't know.
Do you think Be Warned is fair?
Yeah, because it's
visually awesome.
It's oh my god, yeah, it's God, it's fucking beautiful to watch. Especially in like the killer is so striking in that mask. The Night Owl, I think, is what he's called, or the Night Owl Killer, and it's got a clever concept of like it's the story within a story being told, and it's
a locked door horror.
Yeah,
you can't just leave.
And
I will agree, the ending leaves a lot to be desired.
Oh my god, it's got a big Deus Ex Machina ending that's just so it almost undermines a lot of it does undermine a lot of what you see.
The ending here saved this movie. The ending here hurts this movie.
It does. Oh yeah,
I think without that ending, it would probably be up here.
If they should have who cares if there's spoilers? Okay, so there's a part, you know, because it's not full spoilers, but there's a part where the girl goes, one of our final girl goes back to the scene of the crime, and she's seeing kind of in a tableau setting all the victims. Ended there. That's it would have been eerie and spooky. The last minute or two is just
I think you said Voices was going to be real high, but I think it might end up being here.
No, I would have put it in Spoopy approved, but there's some turns in this movie.
Better than Chained? Better than Clovitch Killer?
It's more palatable than both of them, and the twists, oh god, it's hard because it dances a really fine line.
These two movies are more palatable than anything else on this list, but they're also in that category. But I also would say, to me, they're not better than anything in front of it.
It's, I don't know.
Is it better than The Lodge?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I'd say even it's better than Chained or Clovitch.
Okay.
I really would. Ryan Reynolds is just going for it. It's this fun, quirky black comedy until it isn't. And there's a turn that happens, and it's so jarring, and you realize stakes are real. It's heartbreaking. It's horrifying. It's a real, honest to goodness, at times, case study in full-blown schizophrenia, where you're having both auditory and visual hallucinations, and the struggle of mental health and upkeeping your mental health. And it's good. Performances across the board are great, but there is some legitimately, it messes with you when things happen and you can't help but just feel terrible at parts. And then there is a little bit of sugar at the end with just one of the most wild endings I've ever seen in a horror movie in a while, and wild in just the most fun, unbridledly joyous way possible, which you're gonna have to see it to believe it. But yeah, I would give it an S, but it's got some rough stuff to it. So yeah, be warned, but if you can handle it, you're gonna come away, I think, with a big smile on your face, as weird as it is to put it in that trigger warning area. Yeah.
Last but not least, for me, I don't know if you watched this yet, Zipper Face.
No, I was totally unaware of this, actually.
So, and I'll grab this and put it in the chat really quick. The only reason I was aware of this was because there is a Carpenter Brute.
And he's German, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
He basically makes music for movies that don't exist. You know, it's like, he's called Carpenter Brute because it's a lot of John Carpenter-esque stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a song called I think the album's called Leather Teeth, but there's a song called Leather Teeth. And it's footage from this movie. Like almost the whole video is just footage from this movie. Don't watch Zipperface. Go watch this fucking video. Because if they just would, and I think I said this in my review. Carpenter Brute did a thing with Shudder a couple years ago called Blood Machines.
Oh my, Blood Machines is,
and that's just all based upon the music, really. I mean, it's just somebody was like, I really like your music, and they were like, go ahead. Mm-hmm. He, she, they. I'm not sure what the pronouns are. With Carpenter Brute, they should just buy the fucking rights to this movie and just do a Leather Teeth flick.
Yeah.
And just do the fucking video, but make it a full-length movie.
Yeah.
Because the movie is trash. But there's a really the murderer is interesting looking. It's interesting as well because almost every character has some sort of interest in or is practicing BDSM of some kind. The killer is killing prostitutes. And when you kind of figure out why, you're like, oh, this kind of makes sense. Like, the fact that, like, he accidentally killed one in front of a couple others. Like, he didn't mean to kill her. So then he's like, well, now I got to kill these fucking witnesses. And now I got to kill everyone who's witnessed these murders. And so there's so many, like, red herring characters in this movie. Like, everybody's a fucking red herring in this movie.
Yeah.
And then when you see who it is at the end, you're like, well, I had to be you because you're the only person they didn't give me as a red herring. So you started sticking out like a fucking sore thumb. It's a dumb, like, Cinemax level shot on video.
See, it almost sounds kind of fun the way you're describing it. I'm not gonna lie.
It is fun. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is fun. Also, he's a super incompetent killer because every time he goes to kill somebody, he gets kicked in the nuts over and over and over again. But I will say again, you watch that movie and then go watch the Leather Teeth video, and you'll be like, or watch Leather Teeth first and then watch Zipperface, because you'll watch Leather Teeth and you'll be like, this looks fucking baller. This looks so good. And there isn't any changes to the shots from the movie. Aesthetically, in parts, this movie is fucking just visually cool.
Yeah.
Like, there's just like that weird kind of blue-black lighting with lots of smoke and people walking down hallways and, you know, just like kind of that grimy vibe, 80s vibe, like part fog and smoke machines and part neon lights.
Yeah.
It just has that kind of feel to it. But the movie is also a bunch of other nonsensical bullshit.
Oh.
Like, this is definitely a movie I would watch again with people I know.
Okay.
This is definitely a movie I'd watch again to laugh at, because there's
okay. So
there was lots of laughable shit in this movie.
Worth mocking, but not worth it on its own merits.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very, very much so.
All right.
Very, 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 very much so.
Although looking at, like, it has, like, it does look like it has a really cool visual aesthetic to it. Like,
it does. Like I said, just watch the Carpenter Brute video.
Yeah.
It's just fucking great. I mean, but I saw that, and I'd been watching it off and on because I watched some, you know, Escape from Midwich Valley is the other one that I just love, which is basically, you know, Escape from Innsmouth, or Shadow over Innsmouth.
Yeah.
They just, you know, they do so much with so little in these videos, but they're just fucking cool looking. And they're like mini movies, and you're like, oh, this is like a more industrial synthwave. Okay. And then, you know, I saw this, I was like, this is fucking great. And then so we were coming up in 31 and 31. I was like, I'm going to watch this Zipperface movie, even though a bunch of people have said it's fucking terrible. I'll watch it anyway, because, you know, I mean, the visual, I'm sure. And then I watched it, I was like, whew. This is some fucking Up All Night shit right here. Some Captain USA getting out of the video vault.
I love it.
Yeah.
You wanted to share Up All Night?
It's something. But I can't recommend Leather Teeth enough.
Yeah. So the music video that basically reuses this footage, go for that. Please. The movie,
no. Now unless you're going to watch it with a bunch of friends to make fun.
Okay.
All right. Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
All right. There's our list.
Yeah.
There's our
we'll do
first 12 days of 31.
Yeah.
I'm almost got 31 movies in.
You did, yeah. No, I'm like, holy shit. When I was going through like everything, I was like, okay, where are we at? It's just like, whoa, that's been trucking.
And I will also say, like, I do not stay beholden to my list.
Yeah.
Some of this stuff is no longer streaming where it said it was streaming.
Exactly. No, I've run into that a few times. So, also, there's just
sometimes I need a vibe check different.
Yes, mood has definitely dictated some of the things.
I think I watched like Clovage Killer and Chained like back to back, and I was like,
oh god damn,
I fucking need something different. Like this
was that when you're like, I guess I picked worst character studies to watch.
Oh, yeah, Poughkeepsie Tapes wasn't on there.
Oh shit. Did I not send you the right one here? Hold on. Do I need to refresh this? Well, oh shit.
You can go. You can go in and save it and adjust it. I will say we'll put those as a bonus. Poughkeepsie Tapes is not even in that trigger warning. It's just don't watch.
Yeah.
Don't watch.
And yeah, the other movie I had on was The Fury, and it's got pedigree going for it, but it's been outdone so many times since. We'll talk about it more, but yeah, like I was bummed out that like all I could think of were better movies while I was watching it.
Colin, where can people find you?
You can find me here, Spoopy Boys, every other Thursday, Meng on Mang on those alternating weeks, on those Tuesdays of those alternating weeks. Find me on the Discord, Creepin' Colin. Find me on Xbox, Creepin' Colin. I finally am getting honest to goodness decent PC gaming rig set up coming in a couple days. So when I get that all put together, find me hopefully joining in some bad at games and doing some more with that. Yeah, man. But basically, more than anything, let's get this Discord going. Spread the word on that. I'd love to get more people. If you got friends out there, if you yourself are watching and you're like, I'm not a part of the Discord, come join our Discord. It's really fun so far. I would love to see more of the community active. Yeah. So yeah, you can find me hanging around here. This is where I be. Ben, how about yourself?
Tomorrow, you can watch me play the demo of Reign of Dwarf, which was part of the Steam Next Fest. So, Mitch, we're your friends.
Oh, Mitch. Yeah, buddy.
Like, apparently you're like a naked dwarf to start off with, and it's just a survival crafting with dwarves.
That sounds kind of fun.
I mean, look, it's just a dwarf punching rocks.
Oh god! Oh yeah. It's going full Minecraft on it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I don't know if it's going to end up being multiplayer or not. It's got in it, but I mean, these type of games are like my favorite type of games. You know, Valheim, V Rising, shit like that. So
yeah,
but you can get like fucking laser bolts and all kinds of crazy shit apparently.
Really?
So yeah, this game was something that popped up in Next Fest where I was like, oh, you know what? There was a lot of other games. I think I put them up on the Discord. Like, what should I play? I don't know how they align with female dwarf beards. It's a great question. I am of the mind of it's your dwarves. Do what you wish.
Yeah.
But I know. So I put up Enshrouded, which looks like people are calling it the Valheim Killer. Because not only is it basically Valheim, so multiplayer, open world.
The building.
The building's better.
Okay, there's some janky parts of the building in Valheim that were frustrating.
You can literally build stone by stone if you want. Also, when you start building buildings, you will attract people to your village.
Oh, I like that.
Literally build a community and people will do shit for you.
No, okay. That's because sometimes Valheim, as pretty as it and fun can be, can feel a little dead at times, if you don't have people there with you. Yeah.
V Rising is the same way. I love V Rising, but I want a vampire with other vampires.
Yeah, man.
Reign of Dwarf, we're going to play. Polyolithic looks awesome. Mm-hmm. It's another like open world crafting. While we wait here is a you are running a burger flipping place at the end of the world.
Hey, I'm down.
End of the world cooking simulator.
I like a good cooking sim, man.
And then Ascent of Ashes is this weird hybrid, like you've landed on a world full of aliens and some different factions, and it's kind of an RTS but not an RTS. It's a lot of different things mushed together. It looks really interesting so far. Super Spike voted for Reign of Dwarf, so it's going to be Reign of Dwarf unless I get a big mad rush of people. Then you can find me Sunday for prep school.
Yeah, I'll be there too.
And then Monday for Chaos Scar. So I apologize about Star Wars, but I was real sick then.
No, dude, you've been carrying this for a while, so yeah, no, you definitely needed the rest. It's very obvious.
So I am actually going to call it here, and I'm going to go take some goddamn cough medicine because I'm starting to sweat.
All right.
Thank you guys for hanging out, for being spoopy. Our reviews are both in written form and in video form. In Colin's case,
if you want to just see weird stream of consciousness,
it's great. I love your reviews. So if you want to see those, they're on the Discord.
Drugs,
and we again, we've got 19 more days.
Yeah, 19 more days of October, and I've got 11 more movies to do, and you've got, dude. Yeah.
So I would, if you have suggestions, put them in the Discord.
For sure, yeah.
Mitch, you are, and you're beautiful for it. All right,
Mitch, you're wonderful, man.
Have a good rest of your evening. Get some rest. Drink plenty of fluids, and have a good Friday.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, everybody. Bye.